Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jayzon, and we've got a Division A matchup coming for you tonight. Reborne versus Tater eSports, and I'm joined tonight by our lead caster here in NGS, 7th Ace. How's it going, Ace? Thanks for joining me tonight.
Oh, it's doing real well, Jason. It's a pleasure to be on here in the Division A quarterfinals here, and I'm looking forward to the series coming up.
All right, so we have both of the teams ready to go. We're going to tell them that we are ready. And we'll go over the map bans for you guys, the coin toss and all that as soon as we get into the game. And so what we will say for the record that Infernal Shrines is going to be the first map. So 7th, what do you tend to look for when you're, other than Azmodan, when you're trying to do this map?
I don't play Azmodan on this map. We cheese this map. We 541 this map.
All right, there we go.
This game. Mainly looking for Alex Straza. It's going to be real critical to see how those point control heroes and early ultimate heroes get to be used on this map.
Yeah, it's definitely a big map for wave clear. It's also definitely a map that you want to prioritize a lot for being able to clear those shrines, self-sustain, all of that good stuff. And just in general, you mentioned Alex Straza, those big cooldowns that you get from Ragnaros or Alex Straza to be able to help clear those lanes, as well as clear those shrines early, can be very helpful in terms of getting those early punishers and trying to swing the match your way before you hit those level 10s.
Yeah, absolutely. The Alex Straza first pick, first ban rate is very close to 100% in HGC Open right now at the highest levels. So we've seen some real preference towards her as a hero, and her win rate backs it up. She's a very powerful hero.
So quickly for you guys, as I promised, we will go over the coin toss and the map picks. Tater eSports did win the coin toss. They elected to ban out Dragonshire. Tomb of the Spider Queen was then banned out by Reborne. Tater eSports electing here in game number 1 to take first pick, first ban, and Reborne then picked the map, which was, of course, Infernal Shrines. So the rest of the choices for first pick or map pick will go to the loser of each game from the game before. So we don't quite know what that second and third map is going to be yet, but we will see as the series unfolds.
Yep, a little bit of a playoff change-up that hopefully generates some really good series. That's really what we want to see, is just high-quality series, and we want to see some high-quality Hanzo play here for the side of Tater eSports.
Well, where else but Division A would you look to find the highest quality of play here at NGS? And no big surprise that there's a high priority of pick and ban for the Shimada brothers. The one new thing, though, is Maiev. So Maiev gets taken off the board immediately. Not big surprise to see her banned out here.
Yep, she was available for play starting Tuesday. It is now Thursday, and she has been pretty popular in the ban section and in the first pick section. Whenever she's not banned, she's picked up within the first, I don't know, quarter second of that timer, so very popular hero and very powerful hero right now.
And to answer your question, laughing underwater, yes, of course, I'm always excited to see these games, especially in the Div A, but yeah, Blaze and Malfurion picked up here for the side of Reborn. Blaze, a very strong solo laner, but also potentially a frontline tank, which we've seen done from time to time, but great wave clear, very strong pick here on Infernal. And then we have Malfurion, who also is quite a lot of sustain. That's really what his job is, and that's something you really want when you're going into these long shrine fights.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this Malfurion works out, because being a Division B player, we kind of run Malfurion sometimes, but you see him in the standard combos with maybe Illidan or Tracer especially. So I'm really interested to see how they get value out of Malfurion. And on the side of Tater eSports, we have Dahaka and Greymane picked up.
Yeah, Greymane, a pretty constant pick throughout most competitive play. He does everything well. Dahaka coming in as that global that you really like to have on a big map like Infernal Shrines. He's got good wave clear. Probably will be their solo laner. But in your experience, Seventh, who wins the lane between Dahaka and Blaze?
I haven't seen that solo lane matchup. I believe that that's a neutral push. Neither Dahak has good wave clear, and when not pressured by heavy DPS, his essence will generally sustain him. Blaze doesn't have amazing wave clear compared to Dahaka, but he can also sustain himself, and neither of those heroes put out a whole bunch of damage. So I think it's just a neutral matchup, but we'll see if Reborne wants to pick up a more specific soul laner and let Blaze join maybe a 4-man rotation.
Makes a lot of sense, and we are going to see Reborn banning out the ETC, and not a big surprise there. ETC, one of the strongest tanks in the format right now, and it can be very scary with all the chokeholds here on Infernal Shrines, but we are going to see the Tracer banned out, so that's going to deny the classic Tracer Malfurion combo that we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, I believe it was either Dignitas or Fnatic. I get those two mixed up because I don't follow the pro scene enough. Please come and sue me. One of them started picking Tracer Malfurion, and it just blew up in popularity. Tracer's win rate's been skyrocketing. She's near the very top of the boards now. Very powerful hero, especially in the late game when she can burst for an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, the constant poke and then that burst coming in from the pulse bomb can be just devastating to any backliner. But we are going to see the Tyrael coming out and the Gul'dan. So there's your wave clear coming out for Reborn as they pick up the Gul'dan. Great shrine clear, good self-sustain in lane and on those shrines. And then Tyrael, who's just been kind of busted lately, let's be honest.
Yeah, Tyrael is pretty good. I like Tyrael. I like Tyrael a lot as a hero. I've had a ton of fun playing him lately. And once they nerf Justice for All at 1, then we'll probably see a little bit of a decrease in his pick rate. But for now, he remains an incredibly powerful hero to augment your lane presence.
I also really like the combo we've been seeing a lot lately of Blaze and Tyrael as the front line. First of all, it's a lot of pressure on the front line, but you could also send either of them to the solo lane and either of them with the team as the main tank. So you got kind of options depending on what the enemy team solo laner is or how the matchup's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them are competent solo laners, but I think, as you mentioned, the combination together to create really nice pressure and to jump on top of enemies is really, really good. So the response here is Stitches and Stukov for the side of Tater eSports. That is a surprising pickup in the Stitches.
Yeah, Stukov has been very popular in the meta for the last few months. We're also seeing a lot of him on this map specifically because of all the choke points trying to get into the shrines. You can cut one of those off with his lurking arm. But also, so you mentioned the Stitches. It is definitely, I would say, a non-traditional pick here on Infernal Shrines due to the fact that he can have a little bit of trouble getting value out of those hooks when he's actually on the shrines, having to try to hook around those minions.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but they don't have great follow-up CC, which is really what Stitches thrives on. While not required, Stitches Malfurion is a tried-and-true combination where you drop the roots on the hook. Stukov can work with the lurking arm on the hook location, but that's a little bit harder. It's got a longer cast time, doesn't lock the enemy in place. Dahaka is a coin flip on if the follow-up will be there. And, ooh, beautiful pickup there on the side of Reborn is Kerrigan's Taken.
Yeah, so as soon as they see the Stitches, I think that is when Reborn decides to go aggro. The best way to counter the Stitches is to constantly want to be the team that's engaging, and nobody in this game likes to engage more than Kerrigan.
Kerrigan is a menace on Infernal Shrines, and an early game powerhouse too. Both really important, but her main value comes from that almost instantaneous shrine clear, one-shotting a minion every, half second? Incredible clear speed.
Yeah, definitely the best shrine clear in the game, rivaled only by Sonya, and that even might be an arguable point in and of itself, but definitely... Yeah, definitely given this first draft over to Reborn if I had to pick a winner here.
I'm totally with you. Kerrigan and Gul'dan will melt a shrine so incredibly quickly, both with poke and with Kerrigan being able to go in. So I definitely like it, and I'll look forward to seeing it in game.
All right, well, we are loading in here for game number 1 of this matchup on Infernal Shrines. First, on the left, it is going to be Reborne. We are going to have Gunjagoon on the Kerrigan, Showtime on Blaze, Crosby is going to be on the Malfurion, Unaverted on the Gul'dan, and D-Rek is going to be on the Tyrael.
Alrighty, and on the right side of the map, in the red, we have Tater eSports. We have Watson on the gray main, Zydron manning up on Hanzo, Blaze on Stukov, McNider on Dahaka, and Waterboy TKD on the Stitches.
Can I just say for a moment that I'm so happy that Blaze is not going to be playing Blaze? That feels good, man.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But we will see right away. They do send the Blaze to the top lane for Reborne. Dahaka is going to start waddling his way up there, and that will be the solo lane matchup, as they're going to put D-Rek on the Tyrael and with the team here.
Yep. We'll have to keep an eye on that solo lane matchup as everything goes through. We did see the hook by Waterboy TKD, but again, there's no follow-up CC, just a lurking arm, so Crosby is able to just walk on out of there, no problemo. Zydron gets jumped on by the Kerrigan and D-Rek. Not going to end up getting the kill, but Gonchagoon getting very low and taken out by a Greymane Cocktail, so nice turnaround there by Tater.
Yeah, that's a great response by Tater eSports. They're going to pick up first blood, and I like that. You punish the over-aggression here from Reborne. That is their game with this comp. They want to be the team that's aggressing in the rotations. So if you can find an early punish for that, might throw Reborne a little bit off their rotation game here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to really get in the mind and beat out the strategy, is just have a better counter engage. So that'll be really good. However, the XP was already made up for by the wave clear of Uninverted, so that's going to be a real problem for Tater eSports.
So right away we see both teams prioritizing these camps in the mid. We'll see Tater eSports capping theirs immediately. And right now, Reborne is started on this bottom camp. The question is, will this be sniffed out by Tater, and will they look to contest it?
Doesn't look like it, as Gonchagoon down to the last Impaler there, going to maybe pick it up. They will, safely, and escape with their lives.
A nice camp pick up there by Reborne. They split the lanes a bit to get the extra soak, and they will get a slight XP lead off of that as the level 4s come in. And not a big surprise to see Reborne with this early game aggression once again as they dive in on Waterboy and almost get him down there. It's escaping with just a sliver of health.
Yep, just barely didn't convert the kill, but that's alright. He's going to be chunked out without a tap for the next team fight, and there's a good advantage for the side of Reborne coming in as Unaverted dodges a hook.
Yeah, Reborne elected to grab yet another camp here. They've already got the camp pushing in the bot lane. It is only a single spear thrower, so Zydron not going to have too hard a time clearing that up. But I like this call. Pick it up right before the shrine. Give Tater eSports something to have to worry about while this shrine is going on.
Yep, Crosby is pretty low on mana, does not have tap available, so he's going to have to spend a little bit of time regenerating that mana. Malfurion is a mana hog for the first 10 levels of the game or so, but we'll have to see if there's even a fight with how good the shrine clear is for Reborne.
Yeah, they do get it started. They're going to pick up a little bit of a lead here to start, and both teams leaving their solo lanes up in the top lane. But this is going to be a 4v4 as Watson comes in and starts to get a little bit of clear. Hook on to Gunchagoon there. Blaze is going to put down that lurking arm, but they turn and they get the kill on Stitches. So this time the slight over-aggression is on Tater eSports side.
Yep, and just a good shrine-powered pickup. Dahaka didn't end up burrowing in for that fight. He did have the slight global advantage of being able to appear on demand in that bush, but opted to stay with the soak, and that is the first Punisher, a frozen Punisher, going over to the side of Reborne.
We'll be pushing down the mid lane here, and you mentioned it earlier, not a whole lot of follow-up. CC for that Stitch's hook, so they tried to put down the lurking arm, they tried to follow it up onto the Kerrigan, but really they just turned and completely blew up the Stitches there. Is there anything that you think Tater eSports can change about how they're approaching these engagements?
I think it'll have to come at the heroic level at this point. If Stitches can pick up Gorge, that might be able to isolate targets. Or if Stukov picks up the massive shove at level 10 to really get the enemy out of the fight, I think that could be a good way for them to follow up on these Stitches hooks. Because he has been hitting them, but there's just no confirmed kills coming from him right now.
Pretty easy clear there in the mid for Tater eSports. They're able to clean up the Punisher without too much trouble. They do have quite a bit of PvE damage on their side, which is a nice thing for them. But for now, about a level lead for Reborne. We'll have to see if they can get that level 10 and start to take advantage of it as we head on in towards the second shrine phase.
Yep, all the wave clear on the side of Reborne is actually allowing Tyrael to pick up that Swift Retribution at level 7, a really wonderful talent that gives a ton of move speed and attack speed to the allies, a great in-fight buff to receive.
Meanwhile, we do see the camp picked up in the top lane, and Showtime is pushing McNider around here, and is going to start to use this camp to soak a little bit of this pressure and maybe start to work towards the well. Nice advantage for Reborn, as this next shrine is going to be popping up in the top lane.
Yep, and they are right on top of level 10. They'll be picking up their heroics in a matter of seconds here, so that'll possibly give them enough of time to start the shrine, depending on when it pops up here. Heroics now taken, doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary as the aggression comes in. Good lurking arm does peel away Kerrigan and Tyrael, prevents them from using ultimates. Kerrigan escapes with 3 HP, unaverted drops a horrified peel off Watson. Sank drop down, and that's all the ultimates out. This is an even fight now. Gul'dan goes down in the back, and Reborn is in a ton of trouble, losing a fight while up 10.
Blaze up in the top lane all while this fight was going on. McNider able to hit that brush stock to come on down and make that a 5v4, and they were just barely able to turn that. There were a couple of low members of Tater eSports, but Reborn not able to find the kills that they might have expected to get, and that will end up being a huge team fight win and really an equalizer here for Tater eSports.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they needed, and it came down to Blaze's lurking arm, or Stukov's lurking arm, to not mix up our heroes and players. That lurking arm prevented the follow-up. Tyrael was silenced, and Kerrigan was silenced. She couldn't pop her Maelstrom at the time she wanted, and it resulted in the team fight win, so props out to Stukov for that play.
We do have the Shrine activating in top lane. Shaman camp picked up for Tater eSports. Will be pressuring this top lane. No well up here for Tater eSports at this point. The one thing they do get out of that team fight exchange was Blaze up in the top lane that entire time. They were able to get that, but the dive in on to Hanzo. The heal gets out at the last second from Blaze there. Bunker also going down as the Twilight Dream comes out, silencing many members of Tater eSports at this point. Ganjagoon getting low is going to go down, but exchanged for the Stitches. Watson's going to have to back out, but Greymane will go down before he's able to make it away, and that's going to end up being a 1-for-2 exchange in favor of Reborn.
That was a wacky team fight there. Hanzo is almost blown up, but was able to escape with just a little bit of health, then gets a 5-man short dragon arrow to prevent any kind of follow-up as Stitches and Malfurion both went in with their ultimates. Because Hanzo is so dead from the initial engagement, they weren't able to follow up everything with just not quite enough damage. And with the wave clear of, or shrine clear of unaverted, this one will pretty handily go in the side of Reborn.
But we do see a very nice macro call from Tater eSports. There's no reason for them to try to contest over this shrine, so instead they're going to rotate out to lanes, clear the other lanes for the XP, grab themselves a couple of camps, and look to maybe fall back and defend at the keep in the top lane.
Yeah, that fort's forfeit, and trying to fight into a Tyrael holy ground that would be imminent at that fort would be a very risky play at best. So I like the choice get pressure outside the map, elsewhere on the map, and then Hearth back for the timely keep defense.
Speaking of which, we do have Reborne pushing in the top lane, taking down this top front wall. The jump over by the Punisher here, Zydron does kind of peel the members of Reborne, at least preventing them from jumping in with that Dragon's Arrow. But meanwhile, the Keep is under duress here, taking a ton of damage from the Punisher and the members of Reborne. The dive in onto Watson. Ganjagoon not quite able to find the mark with that pull in. Sanctification even being popped so they can try and stay here, but have they stayed too long as the isolation comes out onto Crosby, and he's going in the wrong direction here. He will ice block, but Blaze is going to go ahead and hit that, gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it, the flailing swipe, but ultimately they are able to pull them back in and get themselves 3 kills for the payment there of that overstaying. However, at the end of the day, we do end up seeing that Keep going down here over on the side of Tater eSports. So a willing trade-off, I would say, here for Reborne.
Yeah, I'd make that trade. If 2 people died and a Keep blew up for my opponents, that push, I'd be real happy with that. So definitely still advantage Reborne with catapults now pushing in that top lane for the rest of the game. Punisher going to be spawning in the bottom lane next time, and level 16's on the very near horizon. So again, I like the position that Reborne is in.
Yeah, they're getting very, very close to 16, and wouldn't be surprised to see them look to take that advantage. Ganjagoon looking to go in a little bit there, but nice lurking arm to zone him away. And for now, it looks like Tater eSports are going to get that front wall and back away with level 16s right on the horizon here for Reborne.
Yep, looks like we will see some pretty macro-based play here. McKnighter picking up the Bruiser camp. Doesn't look like Tater eSports really wants to make a fight happen before Reborne picks up level 16. So we'll continue to see a little bit of passivity as some waves are cleared, and Tater works towards level 16 as well.
I like Reborne's response to this. They go directly to the bot lane, which is what you would expect from an experienced team like this. As the enemy team wanting to play passive, they're going to force the issue and force them to either fight or just lose on all fronts here.
Yep, and they're with Dahaka being off in the top lane, having to deal with wave clear, and Reborne moving as a group of 5. They're basically allowed to do whatever they want on the map. So they're exerting their will and grabbing that bottom fort and the invaded siege camp. So good calls here as the shrine begins to push, or begins to spawn in that bottom lane.
Ganjagoon looking for the combo, not quite able to find Watson there. McKnighter is going to come on the back end. Level 16 is in here for Tater eSports. Bunker goes down, but they're going to have to back away from it. And for now, they're just going to go ahead and back away. And Putrid Bile was popped there, so a couple big ultimates coming out here from Tater eSports to try to force an engage. Not quite able to find it, though.
Yep, but now we'll have to see. Blaze is off in the top lane dealing with the Bruiser camp. So that'll delay any kind of engage that wants to happen. Unaverted gets hooked in, but sped out by Turiel. Stitches gets blown up 4v5 along with Greymane with a beautiful Horrify combination there. Haka gets pulled back in. McKnighter gets absolutely chunked by a 3-man Corruption, and that is down.
Yeah, a couple of really big picks there for Reborne, and not surprised to see once again the aggression as they are able to force on the shrine, get a couple of huge picks, and now they're really starting to take charge of this game. Worth noting that this Punisher is going to be marching directly towards that bottom keep, so they've got that lane exposed already. This could be a pretty tough defense for Tater eSports.
Yeah, and Reborn's only making it tougher. They're going to go ahead and pick up every camp that pushes in the bottom lane and the one that pushes in the middle here, and just hold the Punisher at 39. Wait for some heroics to come back up, as they don't have any right now, and look to make an optimal engagement on the bottom keep.
I love this call from Reborne. They know that they're probably not going to be able to get 20. They're not going to look to stall this too long, But they do end up being able to pick up this Arcane Punisher, and they do have quite a bit of... they have put up quite a lot for Tater eSports to have to deal with here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the Punisher starting to march in, sidewalls getting taken down, so there is a dive path available to follow up the Punisher jump on. We'll have to see. Here comes jump onto Stitches. Kerrigan combo and Malfurion Root is going to almost take out Stitches. There it goes with the Horrify. And that will lead probably to this bottom keep getting taken out.
Right now, the members of Reborne jumping in and out of the bunker, getting a little bit of extra armor, taking down the keep, and they might be looking for more here. If they end up getting one more kill, Showtime dives in with the Punisher. McKnighter getting very low. They're going to turn onto Zidon, who's going to jump over the core to get away. Combo not quite finding anybody there from Gonjagoon, but we do see Zidon getting very low. He's under a lot of pressure from Showtime. We'll back up, but the shields are down. The core is falling. 50% on the core as Dahaka falls down, and this is going to be it. Sanctification is popped. Game 1 decisively going over to Reborne.
Nice engagement there. Allows them to take the game. Well done there. And just a really solid game overall on the side of Reborne. Their Shrine Clear was their real signature part. They had better wave clear, and they really had great aggression too. So well played all throughout all aspects of the game by Reborne.
I want to apologize for a couple of those camera mishaps during the game, but fortunately I had some other stuff that I had to deal with here as well. But we are seeing game number 1 go over to Reborne. We'll go ahead and give them their point for that matchup. And we'll look to go on to game number 2, where Tater eSports will have yet again their choice of either first pick or the map pick for this one. Are you still there, 7th?
I am.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yep, you're all right.
All right.
I'm here, just waiting on the next map to get made.
All right.
Because we're not in charge of that, I don't believe.
No, I don't believe so. I think that we will reach out to the teams, though, and see what is going on for them, what they want to choose. So let me go ahead and see.
Also, I'm watching Overwatch League. They're on the tiebreaker point of the tiebreaker map, both tied at 99%. It's crazy.
That's fair, you know. I think that's probably one of the better reasons I've heard for that.
Absolutely. That's it. Philly just won.
Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do is prevent the cats from unplugging or pushing the wrong buttons on the tower. So that's that. If anybody wants to know why the camera occasionally wandered away, I was trying to make sure the whole stream didn't get shut down. So kind of have to pick and choose your wins and losses on that one. But all right. So game number 2. Reach on out to Watson here and see what they want to do. Looks like they already got it set up. All right. So game number 2 is going to be played on Towers of Doom. All right.
And I'm ready whenever, so don't worry about it. I am ready and waiting for the next game.
That makes two of us.
Cool. Just making sure that when we call for the readies, and I'm paying attention to Discord, that I'm not missing anything.
All right, so it does look like we have I like this, that somebody has the bladder of a dolphin. I don't quite know what that means, but I don't know. I assume that means small.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the average bladder size of dolphins or their urinating habits, but nonetheless, we'll take it as to what it should mean.
There you go. All right, so it looks like we got first pick, first ban going over to Tater eSports again. So it looks like they did elect for first pick, first ban a second time here. I don't know. Reborne looking pretty strong in that first game. The odds were definitely very far in their favor against Tater eSports going into this matchup. Looking at the power rankings, I believe the actual figure on the spreadsheet told me 100% to 0, and I mean that's that's worse than Dumb and Dumber, man. That's not even giving you any kind of chance.
Yeah, that's no faith material right there, and
Yeah,
I for one am never about that no faith spreadsheet. Tell you, don't let those damn numbers tell you anything.
All right, it looks like we got everybody just about ready. Nature called. That's a good one. All right.
Now, will we see Lunara play in the next game?
Maybe Malfurion.
Good call.
All right. But probably not. Well, maybe Lunar. Who knows? Who knows?
That's a late game map.
Yeah. All right, game number 2, Reborne versus Tater eSports. Towers of Doom. And Tater eSports come back and force a game number 3 and defy the odds, or will Reborne move on to the final 4?
Well, I don't know about you, but I personally am a fan of an underdog story. Just for some strange reason here. Maybe the movie Dodgeball speaks to me. Maybe, I don't know, the number 12% means something to me. Nonetheless, I'm rooting for Tater eSports here. I want him to pull it back, bring it up to a game 3.
Obviously for the memes, but all right, so we see the same general bans that we normally see in this game lately, and we saw last game. So nobody with those shiny helmets are going to be coming into this one.
That is true. The shiny helmets are apparently what make heroes OP now.
Yeah.
So who knows?
That's probably what Blizzard did. It's okay. Who are we going to make strong? Shiny helmets. That makes sense. Well, we see Hanzo though, or maybe perhaps Tater eSports shaking it up a little bit. Maybe a Chromie, or maybe they'll just go straight to the Malfurion. Nature is calling, after all.
Absolutely. There we go. We did predict that. We did predict a first pick Malfurion, of course. We are obviously in on all these strats and know exactly what's going to occur, so nice call there, Jason.
Hey, thanks. First Asmodan, now this.
Oh, absolutely. Jason knows all about the teams. Now, I think this will transition into a first wave Tracer, or first half Tracer, on the side of Tater eSports, because this is Tracer's best map, and like I said earlier, she's pretty good right now. I fully expect to see a Tracer pickup in the next part for Tater.
Yeah, and like you said, they have the Malfurion already. The question is, would Reborne even consider the idea of denying the Tracer here by picking it up themselves? They have to know that that early Malfurion means Tracer's coming. So how does Reborne want to respond to it? They are going to instead just take a couple of very strong frontliners in the ETC and the Malthael here.
Yep, It's reasonable. It's not guaranteed that the Tracer's coming out. Just my kind of trying to throw it out there, lob maybe a hopeful, maybe an optimistic prediction at trying to see what these teams are going to do. But nonetheless, ETC Malthael are very, very solid pickups for the side of Reborne. Doesn't really indicate too much about what they're going to do other than have Malthael go chill up in that top lane for most of the game.
And to answer yet another question here from Laughing Underwater, how do I feel about Towers and Doom in general? You know, it's a pretty decent map. It's very interesting with the comeback mechanics that it has. A lot of wave clear priority on this map, along with globals. Deniability is good for being able to poke out these altars. It's not my favorite map, but there is the Tracer. You called it, Ace.
Woohoo!
Well done.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm really happy. They wanted that Malfurion early.
Yep, and so they're going to go ahead and pick up the Blaze along with that Tracer Malf combo, which was banned out last game, so we can tell that it's something that's been cycling between these two teams, that it's on their minds already from that game one, and now we're going to see it in action here for Tater eSports.
Yeah, they saw the Malfurion pick up last time by Reborne, so they were like, well, we can't get to it fast enough, so we're definitely not going to let you have it. So they've definitely been thinking about it, and we'll have to see how it works out for him. Tracer, again, strong hero, but execution heavy and can be shut down if you draft it well. We'll have to see if maybe a Brightwing would come out, which would make my Brightwing heart happy, or maybe a Varian with Taunt.
Yeah, Varian is a pretty standard counter. But you mentioned the polymorph coming in from the Brightwing. It is something that's fairly common here on Towers of Doom to see those global heroes picked, so Brightwing can be a pretty strong pick here in general. But one counter that is good for Tracer is the polymorph followed up by the slide. But instead they are going to go to the Karazim and just look to get those naked slides onto Tracer, because that's a pretty high success rate.
Yep, it's just going to be a pretty standard style comp that we've seen for the last couple months. Karazim, Greymane, ETC, all very powerful. Malthael has been powerful since the rework, so pretty standard, not really trying to play something crazy to deal with the Tracer. And Chromie Johanna picked up. I actually really like that from Tater eSports.
Yeah, Johanna's got very good denial in on these altar points. Can stay in for quite a long time, but does melt a bit now to the Malthael. Not quite as strong against him in particular. Plus a couple of high health pools there. Karazim could even look towards the 7-sided strike if they want to try and go for a more burst-oriented comp for Reborn. But Chromie, I think, is a very good combo with the Tracer. Chromie is very good at chunking out heroes. Tracer's good at getting in there and getting the finishing kills.
Did we see this recently? I feel like I've seen this composition recently of Tracer Chromie as Li Ming is picked up.
I believe it was played last night.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was commenting to my team that Chromie just throws up sand like the Carbot Chromie, and it lands somewhere, and eventually it'll chunk somebody to half health, and Tracer goes and plays fetch, lands a pulse bomb and a melee, and they're dead. So good pick style comp. And then they've got sturdy Johanna and Blaze to be able to both poke at towers or altars and be able to prevent really great engages. So I like the pickups, and I like the draft on the side of Tater eSports.
By the way, speaking of Carbot animations, I know you're probably not listening, but if you are listening out there somewhere, Carbot, why haven't we seen a Tracer yet? I'm just saying. But we will see Li Ming being picked up to round out Reborn's comp. And so you talk about a blow-up comp. That is definitely what they're looking for. Get the blow-up, get that first kill, possibly with last rights, get that reset for Li Ming, and look to snowball the team fight from there.
Heroes.
Well, we are loading in here onto Towers of Doom for game number 2. First, on the left, we have Reborne. They're going to be looking to close this series out 2-0 in this one. Unaverted is going to be on the Li Ming, D-Rec on the ETC, Crosby on Karazim, Gonjagoon is going to be on the Greymane, and Showtime on the Malthael.
Alrighty, and on the right side here, we do have Tater eSports looking to avoid elimination entirely from the playoffs. We have Watson on Chromie, Blaze, played by McNider, Waterboy TKD, moving over to Johanna, Malfurion being played by Blaze, and Zydron on Tracer. Now we have Blaze on the same team as Blaze.
Blaze and Blaze. Okay, well, you know, hey, Unaverted getting completely chunked down there. You talk about the sand falling. It came right down on Li Ming's head. Maybe a little bit of friendly mage play to start this one off. Root going down onto D-Rec. He actually goes in and then slides out to avoid that Chromie combo. And for now, both teams will go ahead and walk away somewhat unscathed.
Yeah, Li Ming might disagree with you, but overall the teams do get out with no lasting damage or pickoffs. Up in the top lane, this is going to be a different story from last game. Blaze was relatively bullying Dahaka last game. That's not going to be the case here. Malthael is going to have a field day laying into this big health pool of Blaze. So going to be a tough solo matchup.
Yeah, and unlike many other maps where occasionally there will be an objective that will force Malthael to have to fight out of the lane. Up in this top lane, this solo lane is going to be primarily played in the lane where Malthael really shines.
Yep, and there's no relief for Blaze other than Malthael's diminishing mana pool, as we see double sappers being picked up, one for each side, and they will go and fight in the bottom lane as a mighty duel to the death of the pumpkin heads will begin.
Very interesting matchup in mid with ETC versus Chromie. We don't see that every day, but we will see as both of these pumpkin sappers start to march in, and both teams are going to look to pressure. Waterboy goes in, will hit the condemn to pull everything in a bit. Blaze starting to throw down those moonfires to sustain the team, as well as start to wave clear. Unaverted throwing out the Qs to slowly get this wave cleared. And it looks like both teams are going to be able to clear this up more or less. Actually, Reborne will come back down to defend here. D-Rec has come to finish these off. And for now, no pumpkin sapper value for either team.
Nope. And the only kills they're going to be able to get in the early game is onto the Malfurion. Unless Waterboy TKD somehow misplays, I don't think there's too much of a chance he'll get caught out. And Tracer is way too mobile to get caught by pretty much anything if she plays well. So really, they've only got Malfurion as a gank target. So we'll have to see if that comes into play at any point. But nonetheless, we do have the shrines spawning up in the double top and in the middle.
Yeah, so the first and fifth iterations of the map objective here are going to be these triple altar phases. So it looks like both teams are going to send their solo laners to cap their respective top towers on their own side, but Blaze gets blown up there to save Malfurion, I should say. And we will see Waterboy also getting low. So for now, Reborne takes their kill. They're going to take position, and they're going to go ahead and cap the second of these altars that they're able to get here and take an early 4-point lead on the core shots.
Yep, and that's to be expected. The kill could have been done without on the side of Tater eSports, but the composition of Tater eSports is very late game geared. You want Chromie to build up those stacks, build up our Time Walker's Pursuit quest, want Tracer to scale better, receive the big level 10 Pulse Bomb upgrade. Everything scales better for the side of Tater eSports, so they want to bring this really, really late, but not fall too far behind.
We will see a Malthael capping up in the top. Tater eSports quickly grabbing, and Zydon actually blinks in very aggressively, does stall it, but we'll have to get out there. And we will see a little bit of poke and a little bit of harassment, but inevitably, both teams going to return back to lane and look to clear for these pumpkin sappers.
Yep, good macro on both sides. Pumpkin sappers are, however, in the top lane unilaterally, and they're going to end up taking down this first top tower as we see what could be a 4v4 fight break out in the bottom as Crosby gets chunked to half health.
And nice condemn by Waterboy, able to get in there and isolate 3 targets. Gonjagoon able to juke away from that Chromie combo from Watson. And you talk about Chromie's Q stack, by the way. At 5 minutes, only 8 stacks so far, so having trouble finding those targets with the Sandblast here.
Yeah, the W's have been landing pretty well, but especially with the little solo laning bout she had to do in the middle lane. In the middle lane, through the early section of this game, she has not been able to stack that Q quest very well. That's going to be an important one to finish in reasonable time.
So we will see each team just electing to trade out for now on these shots. And no big surprise there. Both teams getting around 8, but we do see the rewind coming out onto D-Rec. Gonna get a little bit of damage out onto him, but they do a nice job of zoning. But the combo comes down onto Crosby, and Karazim finds himself caught out. And that is going to be the first kill of the game, going over to Tater eSports.
Dang, D-Rec did such a good job of evading the temporal loop by sliding into Malfurion and Tracer, prevented a lot of the follow-up, and then Crosby jumped in to be the real hero and ended up costing him his own life at really no advance. Gonjagoon now going to get taken down as the boss was started by Tater eSports, and the forcing ended up working really well.
Yeah, we see Tater eSports starting this boss once again. First start had Greymane being a little bit overly aggressive, gets caught out, another kill. And now they have started it once again, and we are seeing Reborne once again in here to try to contest. Igniter getting very low. He's going to be attacked from the back end and is going to be taken down. And now the resets are on as Reborne's going to march in here and should be able to steal this boss away.
That boss hits way too hard to take that 5v4. And Li Ming landed a massive arcane orb that ended up doing a ton of damage. Last Rites now comes out, gets the stack, so that cooldown will be a little bit faster next time. But looks like a total of a 3-for-0 trade inside of Reborne, and that'll give them their level 10s and this bottom altar pretty much uncontested.
Yeah, level 10s are in now for Reborne. They're going to be taking the Divine Palm along with the Disintegrate, Mosh Pit, Last Rites, and the Go for the Throat. We have already seen Time Loop picked up here by Tater eSports. The slide in from D-Rec as he's trying to zone, but they're going to turn and completely blow him up with the Pulse Bomb. But Chromie gets dived on the back end by Gonjagoon in response, who's getting very low. Zidane trying to find something, but is going to have to rewind out of the situation. And for now, we are going to see them trying to retreat, but Crosby actually gets caught out. Twilight Dream and the Blessed Shield from Waterboy. And they'll be able to pick up a second kill here. 1 for 2 in favor of Tater eSports as they turn around, and they're actually going to be able to take back this bottom altar.
All right, if you can hear the little crunching in the background, that's me eating my words there. There was not only... It wasn't just not contested, it was actually fully contested and then won. A pretty optimistic stage dive, not mosh pit there. Ended up leading ETC to his imminent doom, but nonetheless it worked out for the side of Tater eSports, and they're going to go ahead and take this bottom altar and I believe control of this game.
Tater eSports taking the fight that they needed to take and definitely putting Reborne on the back foot, but I wouldn't count them out of this game yet. They still even have a lead at this point on the Shrines. Showtime also playing a good macro game up here with the Malthael. They're going to be able to push these Pumpkin Sappers into this top bell tower, start to soften it up a bit. And now we'll have to see exactly whether or not Reborne can come back into this. They still have a slight level lead. They are going to be able to catch this. D-Rec actually getting hit by the Time Loop and a ton of damage there. The Waterboy goes in with the Condemn, but they're not quite able to find the follow-up here.
Yeah, I'm really questioning these temporal loops onto D-Rec here. Not only is he the bulkiest target on the entire team, he can give himself 20 armor by pressing the E button on his keyboard, which I assume he will do every time he's looped to mitigate 20% of that Chromie damage. So I just don't see this burst landing all that often unless they can really follow up with a good root and a good pulse bomb. But again, D-Rec's been doing a great job getting a forward slide to interrupt those.
We do see the double altar phase spawning here in the mid and bot. Level 13 here for Reborne will give them a nice advantage going into this. Gonjagoon's going to have to back up here as the sand falls. And nice block there by Crosby. They're trying to zone out, but Waterboy will just go in and hit him with the old auto attack to stop that one. But Malthael goes down in the top lane to, or in the mid lane, I should say, to Zidon and McKnighter. D-Rec comes in, though, gets the slide out onto Zidon, and he has to back up. Unaverted is going to be hit by the time loop, but the very nice combo comes in from Unaverted, gets them the reset, and for now, a 1-for-1 exchange in this one.
Yeah, what a crazy fight that's going on. In between interrupts and low health heroes, D-Rec does end up picking up this bottom altar, sending 4 shots to the side of Tater eSports, and that should signal the end of this fight. But what a wild fight that was.
Oh, and Unaverted trying to go in as Blaze was walking in to interrupt him, but Crosby comes in and gets the return kill. So the crazy fight continues over this top altar now, as we do have members coming back. Anja trying to go deep here to get Watson. Ends up taking a lot of harassment from Zidon on that Tracer. Bunker coming down on the other side, going to prevent some of that damage coming down, but we will see Showtime trying to cast in the back as Waterboy is going to come in to try and get the interrupt. Does flashlight, but will pay with his life.
That was an optimistic use of the flashlight there. His entire team's running on shambles, and he goes, he's like, I've got it, and he blinds him, and he dies immediately. It's a bummer. That was
worth.
I didn't even notice that mid altar wasn't taken when Malthael was killed off early in the fight by the Tracer rotation almost 2 minutes ago. They didn't end up picking up the mid altar, so that continued the utter bloodbath that has been occurring down in this section.
Another temporal loop being nicely interrupted there by D-Rec. Once again, not being too overly affected by that temporal loop like you had mentioned.
D-Rec's playing that so well right now. I'm really impressed with how he's basically becoming his own peel to these temporal loops, and that's real fantastic. That's working out so well for him as Pumpkin Sappers are going into the top, but burned alive by McKnighter.
So let's go ahead and take stock here for a moment. We have level 16 right around the corner for Reborne. Triple altar phase coming up next, which we should be hearing the gong go off any second now, signaling the 30-second mark before that. I highly doubt Tater eSports is going to be able to get those 16s before they get here. Definitely not. And for right now, no bell towers for Reborne, but this is a big power play moment as they're already up 12 on the core shots.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough one for Tater eSports. Play it wrong and you're down to 8 health with a boss up, and play it even worse, you're going to end up pretty much dead. Unaverted going to end up pretty much dead here. That is an utter destruction. Great temporal loop there. Could give them a chance to invade the altar here at the top.
Yeah, they completely give the bottom one, which will allow ETC to pick it up. He does have the stage dive to be able to come in, and all 5 members are going to go ahead and get aggressive on the other side. Tracer does end up falling, though, so for now, a 1-for-1. Level 16 still not here for Tater eSports as Waterboy comes in, will hit that Blessed Shield. Crosby in a little bit of trouble. Both 2 members having to back up here. We will see the Twilight Dream coming out to silence the members of Reborne as they're trying to stay in, trying to contest here, trying to stall to get Li Ming back, but we will see Malfurion, aka Blaze, trying to cast here. Stage dive coming in, though, as they try and come in through the back end. Malfurion falls, Chromie falls, and we are going to see the members of Reborne getting revenge for the invasion, punishing them, and they're going to end up capping probably all 3 of these now and looking to boss to finish the game.
Yeah, so about the part where it could go bad, it could go worse. This is literally the worst case scenario where you lose. I really think they should have, of course, hindsight's really easy to work with, but take the losses, get the go down to 8 health, secure yours, get 16, and try and scale your composition. But instead, Reborn's just going to march up to the top boss and end the game.
And just like that, Reborne has punched their ticket into the Final Four here for the Div A division with a big 2-0 win over Tater eSports.
Yep, really solid regrouping, good talent choices with especially the stage dive. getting that extra global on your team really helped out and brought Reborne a fairly convincing win in that game.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and reach out to D-Rec, see if we can get a couple of members in here to do an interview with us. I guess we'll make it lobby 2. It looks like lobby 1's already taken up here.
Yeah, there are people lobbying in lobby 1.
What?
Looks like incredible. Can't believe it.
Laughing underwater, I don't know what you're talking about. Spam bots who? I'm just looking the other way. All right. So we will patiently await D-Rec and be a couple members here. Only if the whole team can come. All right, fine.
Oh boy, it's an invade. They're trying to invade our camp.
I guess that's okay. I don't really mind, to be honest.
Yo.
My favorite thing. Hey, welcome.
And we are joined by D-Rec, Crosby, Unaverted, and I'm sure more members of Reborn filing in. Congratulations, guys. Great games. How are you guys feeling after that matchup?
Pretty good. Yeah, obviously we feel good about the wins. It was a little bit sloppy, but all in all, obviously we're happy about winning.
That's a pretty good thing to be happy about. I do like winning. Pretty good. I like it. You know, I should have tried that, but should have taken your advice. But nonetheless, we went for the losing strategy. That's all right.
Well, hey,
I like your strategy, D-Rec. I like it.
At least you made the playoffs. I'm just saying.
Hey, that also is a good strategy. That is a good strategy.
Next level.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your guys' experience of the playoffs so far. What are you guys expecting to get from the playoffs this season? How far do you think you could go? Do you think there's anybody who could stand in your way, and who would that be?
We always play mac and cheese pretty close. It'll be interesting to see like how that series goes. Like in scrims, it's always like hit or miss. Like sometimes they do really well against us, and sometimes like when we played them in the open, we were able to beat them. So it's I don't know. It's really hit or miss.
As far as expectations, I think we expect to win it all.
Well, there you go. So that's the easy answer, right? Well, how could you expect anything else? Seventh, you got any questions for these guys?
Has Fratres and Dino played yet? I don't believe they have, but that's your next matchup, the winner of that one. Anything you want to give us as far as those teams are concerned? Any kind of information? Who do you want to play? All that kind of stuff.
I don't know who we'd prefer to play. I think we're looking forward to either one. They're both really solid opponents, just from our league games and some scrims we've had. So looking forward to that game whenever we find out the results.
Sure. Yeah, I think we were more familiar with Fratres just because we've scrimmed them a couple of times, but obviously no preference. We just are hoping for good games.
Wait, do you know the guys that ran Murky?
No.
Or was that Caliber? Okay. So yeah, no. Either one.
There seems to be a Murky meme up in here, and I can only appreciate a good Murky meme. Are you scared of the Murgle? Is that the problem here? Are you scared of being Murgle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Enemy teams, if you're listening, please don't pick Murky against us.
Please don't. we would hate to have to lose to a Murky.
Don't be giving away the secret strats, guys. Come on now.
Oh man.
Oh, and never pick Gazlo on the same team. Oh no, it'd be terrible.
Oh man.
Ace,
That actually is starting to sound a little bit annoying.
No, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, congratulations on the big win. Why don't you guys do some shout-outs before we close out tonight?
Shout out to the team. Everyone's in here, so shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. Shout out to the org, Rourke, Ganja, everybody. Obviously, like, always appreciate all the support. Huge shout out to my Fogey Bros. They're always cheering for us and supporting us. A huge shout out to those guys. You guys got anybody?
To all the goons out there lurking. Appreciate you.
The Goon Squad.
I just want to give a shout out to our boy Ragnarok as well, man.
Yeah, shout out to Rag. For sure.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in, and thanks for putting on a good show tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you guys next week in the top 4, and we'll see who your opponent is soon this week, I hope. And until then, enjoy the win, guys. Congratulations.
Thanks for casting.
Oh yeah, thank you.
To the cast, man.
Peace.
All right, I think the beeps are over now, and we can finish this out, Seven. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Where can people find you? Where? How do they get to your Twitch page? All that good stuff.
My goodness, well, if you locate that address bar right at the top where it says twitch.tv/JasonHots, you'll want to make a new tab and go right on over to twitch.tv/Seventh Ace, because you wouldn't want to miss any of that Jason action either. So you can find me there.
Why not watch both at the same time? I mean, really.
That's a great idea. You will find both of us casting out throughout these playoffs, especially in the semifinals, and follow us at twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series, where we will be casting some finals games, and that's going to be hype.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Congratulations once again to Reborne. Let's actually, I've been sitting here this whole time with them only having 1 win. They got 2 wins. This series is over. But thank you very much for coming out tonight, guys. And for NGS, I am Jason. He's Seventh Ace, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Adios.